You are listening to the Mad Music Marketing Minutes podcast with your host, Billy Gryzak. Brought to you by MusicMarketingMind.com. Personal music career support services. The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. You know what show you're listening to because you're the one that downloaded the show. You're the one that hit play. You're the one that is ready to rock and get into the music marketing mode. This is, of course, the Mad Music Marketing Minutes with your humble host, Billy Gryzak, the Music Marketing Mind. And today, we're going to tackle the question that's I've been getting a lot of email about, a lot of tweets, a lot of questions, a lot of confused people out there wondering if I can really make a living, make money as a musical artist. And I have a gentleman on the other line. I don't know how often he's called a gentleman, but he's a gentleman to me. He's always been very nice. Direct from Nashville, Tennessee, author of the book Figue Musician and many other things. This is David Hooper. David, how you doing today?
Fantastic. Glad to be here, Billy. Thank you.
Hey, man, it is such a pleasure to have you. I know who you are. I don't know if a lot of my followers and listeners have been listening to your shows, your radio show, your podcasts, your books. I hope that they are. But for those that might not be in tune to the world of David Hooper, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about, or a lot about what you do, who you are, and
let me give you the quick and dirty. Grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. Everybody plays guitar here. A lot of people are a musician. So I saw that it was possible, became a musician myself. But as I got higher and higher up into the musician ranks, even going to college, getting a degree in music, it was pretty obvious that let's say the natural talent or the desire to be a musician wasn't there. But what I was good at was bringing people to my shows and getting people in there and making money. And I would have people ask me, "Hey, David, how are you doing this? You know, you're not the best guitar player. What are you doing?" And that's kind of how I discovered my true gift, and it kind of branched out from there. Started out in really street and radio promotion, and then eventually became a consultant. When the internet thing hit, I was there and ready to take over the internet. So I've done it all over the years, about 20 years as a music marketer, and I own musicmarketing.com. We've done hundreds of live events. Used to own a music conference. You mentioned the radio show. I have a syndicated radio show about the music business, film and TV licensing, music TV supervision. Over the years, just dabbled in various aspects of music marketing. But what I am first and foremost is a guy that comes up with ideas to help you sell more music, get more people to your shows, make more money in music.
So with that last statement there, make more money with music, I'm presuming that, in your opinion, you actually can make money with music.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible, and I'm surrounded by people who do it every day. Nashville, Music City, USA, we're full of people, and I think that was the greatest thing about living here and growing up here is that I saw that it was possible, and I didn't really have those questions that it was possible when I started. And I think that's the biggest thing that gets people. You know, they get these ideas, we'll say, from their parents. It's, oh, you'll never make a living doing that. That's not possible, and that just was not true. Because everybody around me, I went to a school that was very near what we call Music Row here, 16th and 17th Avenues. And I would drive down Music Row, or have my mom drive me every day. And I saw the big buildings, and I saw famous people eating out in the same places I was. And I saw them making money. So I saw it was possible. And sometimes that's all it takes to make it happen for yourself.
You know, it's really funny. My story is similar in a different way. I didn't come from necessarily a music-driven town per se, but we lived in the East Coast, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, there's a lot of entertainment there. But in my family, I came from generations of musicians, not just hobbyists. My grandfather was a big band leader, and my dad was a jazz drummer, played with Dizzy Gillespie, Stan Getz, all these people, you know. My mom was a lounge singer, and like in my family, it was like, well, what do you want to get a job for? You go out and play. You know, it was exactly the opposite of everyone else around me in my family. It was almost frowned upon to have to go out and get a day job.
Well, and you saw the work that it took. I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. That's why they think you can't make money at it, because we look at MTV Cribs, let's say, or we look at just the show. the 1 hour of the day that somebody's performing, and you see that, but you don't see the work that actually goes into it. When it comes to having a job and having music as a job, you probably, you're probably working harder than most jobs. There are easier ways to make money. Let's say that. You're putting in a lot of hours for the money that you do make.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't do it strictly for the money because there are many, many ways, easier ways to make money. But if you have that passion and that desire and that you just don't want to do anything else, you can make a living. I mean, I'm living proof, and you've seen it I've been doing it since the 70s. I'm still out there. That's what I do. I play music,
Well, and if you want to really get into the nitty-gritty of the topic here, why musicians think they can't make money, or is it possible? I think it has to do with musicians kind of getting some of that programming themselves and actually not doing the work, not understanding that they have to do the work in order to make it happen. These albums don't record themselves. Songs don't write themselves. Just to even get up to the level that you can get on stage and actually perform, you have to do a lot of work. You have to learn how to play your instrument. You have to save up. You have to purchase an instrument. You have to purchase chords, amps, strings, if you're a guitar player, for example. And it takes a lot of work even before you can get to the level where you're playing for free.
Right. And also, I think that a lot of musicians besides that are being brainwashed by other musicians and other people out there that have the ear on social media and whatnot, just saying that nobody's making money, nobody's selling records. And I just find that to be a crock, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. I spend a lot of time in the gym. I really believe in taking care of yourself. And being self-employed, I feel it's good for me to get out of the house every day. And that's where I choose to spend my time. And musicians and the advice that you get from them reminds me of the guys in the gym that are going to give you advice on how to be a bodybuilder or how to lose weight or how to get more fit or what to eat. There's just a lot of misinformation. People have opinions, but they don't necessarily know. And I think that absolutely hurts musicians to take advice from the guy who's had 7 beers that night already, and he's going to tell you how to make money. Or he had one bad experience, but then if you step back and you say, well, let me look at this guy. Maybe the reason he had a bad experience is because he's sitting in this bar talking about being a musician more than he is actually being a musician.
Absolutely. So, in your opinion, what's the first step? What's the first step to going from being a hobbyist to maybe actually making a little money?
Well, I think you have to treat it like a job. I think you have to show up. And I can give you great examples from the writers here in Nashville, the songwriters, because we're primarily, I would say, a songwriting and production town. And that's really where it all begins. But these guys, they show up 8, 9 a.m., earlier than a lot of people get up, and certainly most musicians, and they've got appointments throughout the day. One guy I know, and I'll go ahead and say his name. I normally don't like to drop names. Is a guy named Jeffrey Steele. Did a lot of stuff for Rascal Flatts. He's done songs for everybody. Anyway, he runs this thing like a doctor's office. He's got 2 or 3 of these little rooms, writer rooms, and he'll have an appointment, 1, 1:30, 2, 2:30, and he just goes in, sees what he can do, goes to the next one, sees what he can do, goes to the next one. And this guy's writing hundreds and hundreds of songs, which is one of the reasons why he's so successful, because he's very prolific, and he doesn't just wait to be inspired to write. He goes in every day and he writes, whether he's got a fever, whether he's sick, whether he's hungry, whether he's worried about money. So many musicians, they let things get them down. Like, for example, we're here in March, and March Madness, basketball's on TV, right? And he's not like, well, I'd rather watch basketball tonight. Nope, he's out writing.
Yeah, that's really important. Consistency.
Absolutely, it's consistency. Because I think half the game in music is just showing up. I remember, this is crazy. This is only in Nashville, right? We had a 48-track recording studio in my high school. Just went to a normal high school. But we've got the recording studio, and this is 25 years ago, man. It was before the days of home recording. We had a huge board, the big 2-inch tape machine, drum booth, vocal booths, all the mics, whatever. And I was telling my guitar teacher at the time, I'm about 15 years old. I said, man, this class, everybody likes it, because they just hang out all day, right? They don't really. We're just like waiting for somebody to finish their track, or sometimes like nothing's going on. He said, well, a lot of the music business is just hanging out, waiting for something. It's just showing up, waiting for opportunity. And I've always thought about that. It's like, yeah. But at the same time, I think you can make your own opportunity, which I know you're a big believer in.
True. And also not only making your own opportunities, but being ready for the opportunity when it presents itself. That's called luck. Yeah,
Thomas Jefferson said that. He said, luck is opportunity meets preparation. I believe that's what he said.
Preparedness.
Preparedness meets, well, I'm going to screw it up now, but basically you throw those three things together and you get luck.
So
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm a musician, and I don't live in Nashville. I don't have the luck to be living in Nashville. Okay, so let's for the sake of argument say, I don't know, I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now, Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's a nice town. They have a football team. It's all good.
Yeah, but I knew some guys up there that did like the Cheesehead theme or something, a Green Bay theme.
Yeah.
The Weisenheimers.
Yeah. Oh, you know those guys.
I think they sold something like, at least 80,000 of those Green Bay theme song, or whatever the name of that song was.
Oh,
so, you can make money anywhere, even Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, there you go. So give me some examples of what people can do that don't live in a music hub. What can we do?
Well, I think the best thing about being in Nashville is just saying you're from Nashville. So I don't think it's necessarily important that you're here. It is kind of cool. I'm going to a music conference this weekend. It's just down the street. I could walk to it, and there are going to be a lot of people. So people are going to come to you. Certainly, I live down the street from Music Row. I can find a studio. I can find some competent musicians and competent people to record everything, as well as the writers, which I mentioned earlier. I think that's really, really nice. But at the same time, I think with so many people here, it's weird because, sometimes it's like, well, my buddy's a musician, or, hey, will you come play on this record? And I think we've got a good culture of playing on everybody else's record or helping people get a product out. But it's not necessarily the money opportunity it would be for somebody in, as I'll say, Chunky, Mississippi. So you got a small town like Chunky, Mississippi. If you've got a little studio there and you've put together a house band or something, and people are coming through and you want to make a living as like a studio musician, it's probably going to be easier for you to do that there than it would be in Nashville, because there are going to be people coming through, and it might not be like top-notch work, but it's going to be the kind of thing that would get you writing, get you recording, and that kind of thing. So in that case, not being in Nashville is great. What I think is really a great thing to happen, and I know you did this, Billy, is just if you're interested in kind of keeping your foot in the door, just come through Nashville or come through Los Angeles if you're into film and television, or New York or whatever. Just make trips. Come every month, come every 6 weeks, come every couple months, because if people know that you're in town, sometimes you'll have better luck getting appointments with them where they can't put you off till next week or the next week or the next week, and it never happens.
That's really true. I just did we recorded a show, Bob Baker and I recorded a show today on how to get bookings, how to book your band. And one of the things that I've been doing lately is I've been doing some throwback marketing, and I've actually been picking up the telephone. And I find that it kind of catches people off guard and gives you an opportunity to have a real conversation, and it's kind of a novelty these days because, people are always getting hit up on Twitter and Facebook, email, LinkedIn. And, a lot of times, calling and creating a real relationship where we're talking to each other, you can hear the person. It's different, and I like the idea of actually meeting people face to face. I think
it works for a few reasons, and that's certainly one of them. One of them is that it's harder to pick up the phone and call somebody. It costs more money. It takes effort. It takes skill set. That just to communicate like we're doing now, it's not as easy as sending a 140 character tweet. And certainly to meet somebody in person does that. I think with so much noise in the music business now, anything that you can do to separate yourself. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. Every band should be doing that.
Yeah, in fact, I'll tell you something really funny that I did on the way back from Florida, going through Nashville. My daughter was on tour with me. She's playing drums, and we were driving, and I had her looking up venue numbers from my book and calling them and putting them on the speakerphone, and then I would talk to people while I'm driving through towns. and talk about booking dates. And then when they give me dates, she'd look them up on the iPad. And we booked about a half dozen shows on our drive back from Florida this week.
Yeah. Well, that's maximizing your time.
So excellent. I'll tell you what, before we do that, we need to maximize a little time here. We have a sponsor. His name is Neil Christensen from Only Sky Artist. And every week he gives us some tips to help take your business to the next level. So take it away, Neil.
Hey, thanks, Billy. Do you respond to fans' emails, tweets, or Facebook posts within 24 hours? The timing and quality of your response will go a long way towards making a casual fan a raving fan. Remember, on the other end of the interaction is a person who might be a little intimidated by reaching out to you. If you put them at ease and show you are a human being, you very well might make a fan for life. But blow them off and see how quickly they turn a deaf ear to your next Kickstarter campaign. Hey, this tip was brought to you by Only Sky Artists, the creators of Music Fan Attractor. To find even more out-of-the-box ideas like this, head on over to onlyskyartists.com/tips. There you will find the 7 biggest traps musicians fall into when marketing their music online. That's onlyskyartists.com/tips. And now back to Billy.
Always great to hear from you. And anyway, we are here with David Hooper, author of Six Figure Musician. By the way, I do enjoy that book. I've read it actually a few times. It's kind of a reference book for myself. And do you mind talking about the book a little bit, like your inspiration for it, and how it might help people? Obviously, with the title Six Figure Musician, it sounds like it works great with our topic today.
Yeah, well, I'm a marketing guy, so I was going to pick a title that was titillating and get your attention and hopefully sell a lot of books. But the actual title came because I had done a book. I think it was in 1999 we started working on it, maybe 2000 when it came out, and it was called How I Make $100,000 a Year in the Music Business. And it was a co-authored book. I did it with a guy named Lee Kennedy, and Lee was a guy who was doing just that. He was working like a madman and pulling in some pretty good money, and he'd done it consistently, and he had the musician aspect down, and I had the business aspect down. I could add some things to what he was doing, so we put together a book. But eventually you put out a book, and the information it needs to be updated. And we took it off the market, and I said, man, I need to revisit this. I need to come up with an evergreen book of everything that I've learned, and I want it to be similar to $100,000 Musician. I really loved the name $1 Million Musician because I thought it was like the next level. But I said, nobody's ever going to believe they can make $1 million a year or even $1 million with their music. But Billy, I can tell you it happens all the time. I'm surrounded by people that are doing all that.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, people really do it. And my thought is, if another human being, another person out there breathing on the planet can do something, whether it's brain surgery, rocket science, or playing guitar, then why not you?
Yeah, why not you? Why not you? But at the same time, though, I wanted to bring it down to the level that most people are at. So I said, well, 6 figures. Most people, when they say 6 figures, they're thinking $100,000 or more. But $100,000 is a good start. Just a couple grand a week. You can do that if you're out working, right? So I thought 6 Figure Musician would be a good title, and that's how it came about. It took basically 2 years to write because I wasn't writing the entire time. A lot of it was edits. I wanted to put everything in there, and there's obviously some other stuff that comes to getting a physical book out. So yeah, came out with that about a year ago, and it's still going strong. I got up, and it was the #1 music business book on Amazon today. So
wow,
yeah,
that is
still
awesome.
going strong.
So let's go back a little bit here. My question would be, so we talked about songwriting as a way to make some money, okay? And obviously gigging, if I don't see why you can't make money gigs. So, a lot of people tell me they don't make money, they lose money. Personally, I've never seen that. I've always gotten paid for my shows.
It depends. I know a lot of guys are going to take any kind of gig they can get, and they get into that, what I would call the exposure trap. Well, it's going to be good exposure. There's a definite fear of missing out. So they're going to take any gig they can get, even if it's 2 a.m., if they think like one guy at the bar is going to show any kind of interest. But it's there's a point of diminishing return. I think it's a way to make money. We talk about this in the book a lot. And that's how to turn a loser gig into a winner gig. Even if you were to do a free gig, you can make a lot of money, T-shirts, merchandise, selling CDs, getting people on your mailing list and selling them later, getting them to paid gigs later. So there are ways to make money doing gigs, even if it's not coming from like a guarantee or a door, which is that's probably what most guys are being paid.
Sure. So we have songwriting, which is writing, I guess, for licensing to get in movies, TVs, commercials, other bands, other artists, writing as a professional writer, going out and doing live gigs. So what are some of the other ways that we can make some money with our musical talent?
Well, I'm going to go back in merchandising thing. I mentioned that's how to turn a loser gig into a winner gig. And I think that a lot of bands really underestimate the value of merch. I was at, this is crazy, man. I thought it was crazy. I'm at like a very suburban strip mall in Nashville yesterday. And I'm at a Whole Foods, just vegetarian, high-end type food, right? I guess they got meat there too. But anyway, the high-end organic type food. And I see some guy in a Misfits hoodie. And I thought, man, that's like the weird. I bet if I asked that guy, name a song by the Misfits, he wouldn't even know. Have you ever heard the Misfits? Well, no, haven't heard them. Who knows? But that's the case of a band that is more known for their merchandise than they are their music. Same for Danzig. I know he's associated. Same for Motorhead. Same for a lot of bands. And I think merchandising, people think, it's too early for me to merch. But, if you've got like a really cool logo or a cool image or a cool just kind of attitude, you can make a lot of money. A lot of guys will spend $20 on a T-shirt. You can't copy a T-shirt like you can music. So you're going to try to get your money one way or another. And I think the packaging of merch and music is a good way to distribute your message or your music. I think that merchandising is extremely important. I think it's definitely easier to sell than music these days. Plus, it's advertising.
I agree. And the thing that I recommend to my clients, and I've done myself, which is, the merch you can really move, especially if you got some slogan or some great image that even non-musical people just going to want this, because it just says something cool. But what I recommend people do is what I call the Webkins maneuver. Okay, now do you know what Webkins are?
I do not.
Okay, Webkins are like these little stuffed animals that you buy, and each one comes with its own little code where you go onto a website and you plug the code in, and then your little animal goes into this virtual world and can play virtually. So all the kids buy the animals, but they want the little tag so they can go and play the games, right? So what I tell everybody to do is get yourself some download cards and have unique songs attached to each piece of merchandise, so that when they buy their merch, when they buy their T-shirts, their hats, their mugs, whatever it is you're selling them, everybody gets a song download at the same time, and then you're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I've seen that done, not with specific merchandise, but specific. For example, a fan club. You get fan club only releases, but anytime you can do something exclusive where your true fans are going to feel really, really special. As far as merchandising, limited edition has always been great. So I wonder if there's a way to make that hey, limited edition. If you buy the T-shirts now just to get everything kickstarted, we're going to give a limited download. That's the thing about it. And also songs. If we want to talk about the value of a song, you can do one song. For example, when I was a little kid, I used to go into Kmart. Is Kmart still around? It is, right? Yeah, yes. Kmart, like a big box store, which at the time, that was the number one record store in the country.
Yes, it was.
Before Walmart. I would sit there, and when my parents were shopping for tires or whatever you buy in there, I would look through records. I remember looking at Jay Giles Band. Remember those guys?
Yes, I do.
And what's the song that you remember?
Well, this is later song is Centerfold.
Centerfold. That's the one everybody knows. Centerfold or maybe Freeze Frame. And I remember looking at Jay Giles' albums, and they put those songs, it seemed like, on every record. Now, maybe I didn't understand the best of and the greatest hits and the live at Budokan or whatever Jay Giles was doing at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a a good song that everybody likes, you can repurpose it. And I think that that's a great opportunity to do exactly what you're saying. If you've got like a really hot song, say, hey, we've got an acoustic version of this. Hey, we've got the dance remixes. Hey, we've got the stems from this thing, and you can make your own remix. So there's a lot of things that you can do with just a single song. If you're a band that's only got one album, you've got, let's say, 10 or 12 good songs on that, you can repurpose that 2 or 3 more CDs probably.
I've actually seen some bands have T-shirts specific to certain songs where the front of the T-shirt will like have the title if it's a really cool title, and the back of the shirt actually has the lyrics printed on it. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you got a song that really connects with people, and there are those songs that emerge usually in a band's career, and you can certainly see even like old bands. If you were to go see U2, you're going to see people really connecting with certain songs. If you were to go see Nirvana, if Nirvana was still around, you would see people really connecting. Your fans will tell you which songs, and that's a great merchandising opportunity.
I agree. Well, I'll tell you, we're getting, excuse me, kind of close to the end, and my throat's getting a little tickly. Honestly, David, I could talk for hours, and I might hit you up again if you're willing. That would be really cool.
Yeah, man. We'll do it soon.
That's great. But before we go, tell us where we can find you, what you got going on, anything cool going on, and maybe a little bit about where they can find the book, whatever. So this is your turn to just go for it, man. Market me, man.
Well, the website, my music business website, is at musicmarketing.com. With that said, this year I'm kind of taking a music marketing hiatus. I'm still doing marketing one-on-one with musicians here in town, just continuing my consultancy. I'm not posting online as much, but I do have a website I am posting online a lot, and it's called bigboldimpact.com, and that's where I look at other industries, and there's great marketing advice. If you're willing to get in there and dig a little bit, you're going to do the stuff that other musicians are not doing because they're too lazy. They want me to spoon feed it to them. But if you're somebody who's going to go to bigboldimpact.com and be willing to put the pieces together, you're going to come up with some great ideas, and that's really where all this stuff comes from. The music industry didn't invent it. We just borrowed it from everybody else, and then people are now borrowing it from us. So it's you know how that is, Billy. And some of these ideas, like for example, the Ford motor cars. He said, "Well, Henry Ford invented the assembly line." No, he didn't. He got that idea from a pork processing plant. So that's basically what I'm doing at Big Bold Impact. I'm taking ideas and letting you use them in your business.
So it's Big Bold Impact.
.com.
Fantastic. And if anybody wants to reach you directly, can they reach you through that website, or is there any other contact?
Twitter's the best way to get me. I'm bogged down with emails so much, and my phone is always off because I'm either on the radio or in a recording studio somewhere. So just the Twitter name is David Hooper, all one word, Hooper.
Beautiful, man. Hey, thanks for being on the Mad Music Marketing Minute show. And actually, I can't wait to see you in person. If we get the chance next time I come to town, maybe we'll do this face-to-face. That would be cool.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. All right.
All right, thanks, man. All right. Well, it's time to say goodbye. See you later. Say goodbye, David.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.